Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you? Okay, so tonight we're going to be speaking about the days of the week. After we spoke about the different months, I'll share with you what the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says in Daf Kuf Nun Vav 156a. Maybe next time we'll go through the text, but for now, for tonight, we will we'll go through the days of the week. Now, as we said, the zodiac, the idea of the zodiac, the idea of astrology, is in order for us. Why we said we proved that it was a Jewish science, and the fact is, we said that we need it in order for us to know who we are, to explore ourselves, to know our character traits. In no way it is for us to know our future, and even sometimes through the character traits that we have, that will dictate what our future will be. Again, it's not the purpose of what astrology is all about, according to our belief. As I said, the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, Kuf Nun Vav, speaks about the days of the week, and we'll try to expand every day and to understand it. So let's start with, in a minute, Sunday, but before that, as we said, the place where the person was born, the month where he was born. As we explained, we actually proved that the month that the person was born in will be connected to something that happened either during history, Jewish history, as we said, for example, the month of Av, the lion devours, and so on and so forth, the idea of fire. So the person who was born in the month of Av is going to be connected to fire. Someone who's going to have a lot of enthusiasm is going to be someone who's going to be with a lot of fire in him, in a sense of wanting to do, and so on and so forth. So the same thing, by the way, applies for the days of the week. And we'll try to prove that. Now, the fact is, in order to prove my point, what am I going to be using? I'm going to be using the Torah. Right? And which part of the Torah? The creation of the world. Right? According to the creation of the world, we'll understand month Sunday, what was created on Sunday, how is it connected to someone who was born on Sunday, and so on and so forth. So let's start with Sunday. The Gemara says that if someone was born on a Sunday, he's going to be someone who is going to be kulo tov, all good, or kulo ra, or all bad, or all evil. It's not going to be someone who's going to be in the middle. There's not going to be a middle way for this person who was born on a Sunday. And how do we know it? From the creation of the world. What does it say in the creation of the world? It says, oh, what was created on the first day? The light and the darkness. Which means there was no middle way. Either it's light or either it's dark. Right? And therefore, if someone is born on a Sunday, it's the beginning, it's the first day, it's born on the first day, light or darkness, good or evil. Some say that he's going to have the ability to become a leader. Why? Because it has to do with, it's related to Sunday, which was the beginning. So he's going to be someone who's going to try to initiate things. He's going to try to do new things, and through that become a leader. Monday. Gemara says that someone who is born on a Monday is going to be someone who's going to be full of anger. Okay? It's going to be someone also who's going to have a certain degree of divisiveness. And why? Because what happened on Monday? On Monday there was a machloket. It was a day of division. It's the first time that we find division in the Torah. Okay? What was divided? It says in the Torah, "Vayavdel Elokim ben hamayim asher me'al harakia u'ben hamayim asher mitachat harakia." The separation between water above the heavens and below the heavens. And if we look carefully, we see that every day at the end of the day, it says, Vayar Elokim Kitov. And God saw that it was good, except one day. Which day? Monday. Monday it doesn't say that God saw it was good. Why? Because there was a separation. And even though the separation was needed, they needed to separate the upper waters and the lower waters. Still, we see a machloket, we see a division. It's not good, and that is why Torah doesn't say kitov, that it was good. And therefore, if someone is born on a Monday, he's going to be someone who has tendencies to create machloket, divisiveness in the community, in the congregation, in the Jewish people, and so on and so forth. Is going to be someone who's going to have the tendency of getting angry, and therefore, if someone is born on a Monday, he's going to have a tendency of not being happy. They're not going to be happy campers. People are born on a Monday, and therefore, again, it doesn't mean that this person is evil, and that's it. That's the end of the world, and you can't change it. Not at all. Not at all. The fact is, he could change it. He should know. I was born on a Monday, so certainly I'm going to have this character trait of anger. So what should I do? I'll try to work on myself and change that. Okay. And for us to know also that if someone is getting angry pretty often, it's very, very possible that he's a Monday born person. Okay. Tuesday. Someone is born on a Tuesday, the Gemara says that he's going to be someone who is going to be wealthy, and is going to be promiscuous. Okay? The reason for that is because Tuesday, God created the grass and all vegetables, vegetation. So it has two elements. It has the element of earth, okay? And there's also the element of water, okay? And therefore, there's abundance. Earth and water together, that equals abundance. If someone is born on a Tuesday, he will have a tendency, he will be able to become wealthy. And it's something that you find all over, water, earth. And that's the idea of being wealthy. He's going to be wealthy wherever he finds himself. One more thing. Now, vegetables, usually you could grow all types of vegetables together. There's no division between them. And therefore, if someone is born on a Tuesday, it's going to be someone who's going to become too loose sometimes, which means he's going to get mixed up with other people. And sometimes he's not going to be distinguishing between good and evil. Okay, so that's Tuesday. Now, Chazal, our rabbis teach us, and they say that's called Irbubia. Irbubia is a mixture. Okay? A mixture between what's good or what's not so good, and lifestyle that could be acceptable, sometimes lifestyle that is not acceptable, that is unacceptable. And all this is because this person is born on a Tuesday, the idea of vegetation, everything is mixed together, and this person sometimes will have this tendency of crossing the line, and you'll have to know how to stop that. Wednesday. If someone born on a Wednesday, it's going to be someone who's intellectual. You're going to have the tendency of being intellectual, of being intelligent. Why? Because intelligence, wisdom is connected to Wednesday. We'll see how. He's going to be someone who's going to have a clear memory, and also that is connected to Yom Revi'i, to Wednesday. Why? Because when God created the world, God created the moon and the sun. And that's the idea of luminaries, okay? Which means that the light represents a clear way of thinking. When you see, when somebody say, I want to see the light at the end of it, I want to see something, okay, so light. So the idea of clear thinking and retaining knowledge, that's the idea also of or of light. Thursday. If someone is born on Thursday, he's going to have a good trait of being a Ba'al Tzedakah, of being someone who is very, very generous, giving a lot of tzedakah, of charity. The reason is because God on Thursday created dagim, the fish, tziporim, all the birds, and the combination of fish, birds, right, represent the idea of chesed.
Thursday?
Yes. Right? Represent the idea of chesed, of kindness. Why? Because these characters, these animals and the fish that was created on Thursday don't have to go far away in order to get their food. It's ready for them. So if someone, who gives them all that? God. God has great chesed, great kindness with them. If someone is born on Thursday, he's going to have this tendency of being like God, being someone who's going to be he's going to become passionate towards other people, he's going to share his wealth, his money with them, whatever he has, because of this idea of being born on a Thursday. So the same way that God had the sense of chesed, of kindness and tzedakah, generosity, on Thursday, so anyone who's born on a Thursday, the same way that those animals were totally dependent on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on God, if someone is born on Thursday, you'll have also people depending on him to give and to share with them whatever he has. Friday, Yom Shishi. If someone is born on a Friday, it's going to be someone who's going to always seeking to do tov, to do good. It's not going to be someone who's going to be sitting and doing nothing, but rather always looking for a mitzvah to do, running after mitzvot, after good deeds. These people will have also tendency towards spirituality, religious inclination. Why? Because as we know, Friday is the preparation for Shabbat. So the fact is, on Friday, what do? As we prepare ourselves for Shabbat, we are not sitting in one place. Rather, we are going, we are shopping, we are cooking, we are cleaning, and so on and so forth. Same thing with someone who's born on Friday. He's going to be someone who's going to be always running after mitzvot, to do something good with other people. Shabbat. If someone is born on Shabbat, he's going to have a great degree of holiness. Why? Because of Shabbat. The Shabbat is the holiest day of the week. And he will have to work on how to make sure that this holiness is expressed. And the Gemara says also, then the next thing the Gemara says after the days of the week, the Gemara says that there are 7 mazalot, right? 7 constellations that rule the day. And every hour of the day is ruled by one constellation, by one mazal. So we have to know that every day the mazal is going to be different than the other day, which means that if on Sunday 5 p.m. a certain constellation is ruling, it doesn't mean that Monday 5 p.m. the same constellation is going to be ruling. We'll see. It's a very simple calculation. Since we have 7 mazalot, right, 7 constellations, so that means that if we multiply it by 3, there's 21, and there's 3 hours left to the day, 24 hours. So the cycle starts again after 21. It starts again from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So, for example, the Yom Sheni, Monday, the day is going to start with the 4th mazal, the 4th constellation, according to this calculation. Very simple. Why? Because if we start Sunday from number 1 to number 7, multiplied by 3 is 21. Then we have 3, and then we start the next day. The 4th is already Monday. Okay? So we'll go through. We'll go through the 7 mazalot. I'm going to write it on the board for you to have. And we'll see the order of them. And it's fascinating. So we have the first one is Chama, which is the sun. Okay, so that's how we started. Then we have Noga, Venus. Then we have Kochav, which is Mercury. Then we have Levana, which is the moon, right? Then the next one we have is Shabtai, Saturn. After Saturn we have Tzedek, which is Jupiter. And the last one is Me'adim, which is Mars. These are the starts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 mazalot that we have. Now each one of these mazalot, of these constellations, controls 1 hour of the day. And as we said, cycle of 7 hours, and it starts again. So if we'll do a little calculation, the first day, Sunday, on the first hour, we start with Chama, sun. And that is why, by the way, why do we call in English Sunday, Sunday? Because of that. Very simple, right? Sunday comes from sun. It starts with the sun, right? The first day of the week, Chama, sun, that's how it starts. So if we count the mazalot, the second day, the Monday, is going to start with, as we said, the fourth one, which is Levana, moon. Okay? And that is why, by the way, Monday. Why Monday? Moon. Right? Okay? And in French, we call it lundi, which comes from lune. Right? Again, the moon. Yom Shlishi, the third day, Tuesday, is going to start with Mars. And that is why in French, in Spanish also, there you have it, okay? So in French it's mardi, it comes from Mars, okay? The Wednesday is going to start with Mercury, which is in French again, mercredi, so makes sense. The Thursday is going to start with Jupiter, in French it's jeudi, pretty similar. And Friday is going to start with Venus, which is vendredi in French, very simple. Now, the Shabbat is going to start with Shabtai. And Shabtai in Hebrew is very similar, right, to Shabbat. That's why. Okay? And Shabtai is Saturn. And that is why Saturday. Right? It starts with Shabtai. Now, these hours, by the way, start from when? They start from the sunrise. That's how we start to count the hours of the day till sunset. Okay? So for example, if sunrise is at 6:45 a.m., so the first hour of the day will start at 6:45 till 7:45 a.m. Okay? By the way, we know also that we start our day when? At night. Exactly, sunset. After sunset with the 3 stars, then we started. So if we do this calculation, it comes out that Friday is already Shabbat. And therefore, Shabbat starts with which mazal? Me'adim, Saturn. Okay? And that is why do people try to get Shabbat earlier? They don't start exactly when it is Shabbat. They start 18 minutes before, or a little bit even before that. Why? Of course, there's the idea of sanctifying the Shabbat, of getting the Shabbat or welcoming the Shabbat earlier. It's a great mitzvah to do. But there's more than that. The fact is, since Shabbat is connected to Me'adim, to Saturn, okay? Saturn is not a great mazal, because we'll see later that Me'adim, Saturn, someone is born under the constellation of Me'adim, of Saturn, is going to be someone who is going to be wanted to to always be close to blood. And therefore, we don't want to start the Shabbat that way. We try to start the Shabbat before that, before we get into the Mazal, into the constellation of Me'adim, or of Sar. Okay, so we went through the days of the week. Okay, we did it pretty quickly. We'll go now through the different constellations, as we said. So we already proved the months. Okay, we went through the months, if someone is born on a certain month. We went through the days. Now it's important to know also when you were born, which hour of the day you were born, besides the day, because altogether it gives you a different combination of things between the month, the day, and the hour of. Okay? So if someone is born, and again this is in Gemara Shabbat, and Kuf Nun Vav, someone is born under the Mazal of Chama, sun, it's going to be someone who is going to be apparently handsome or beautiful. Okay, and the reason is because of the radiance of the sun. Okay, the radiance of the sun, right? When you see the sun, it's something that is radiant. Someone is born under this constellation is going to have an effect on him, how he's going to be looking. He's going to be radiant. Someone is going to look at him, you will feel his presence. So another thing is there are going to be people who will be able to self-sustain themselves. Wherever you put them, they'll be able to manage, and they will not have to be dependent on other people. The reason is because the sun is so strong. So if someone is born under this constellation, he's going to be strong enough to self-sustain himself. Okay. Also, if someone is born under the constellation of Chama, he won't be able to have a lot of secrets. Why? Because the fact is, when the sun is out, everyone knows that the sun is out. You can't hide the sun is there, right? Same thing with this person. This person will not be able to keep a secret or to have a lot of secrets. And therefore, our rabbis teach us if someone is born under this constellation, he will have to be extremely careful of doing anything that is wrongdoing. Why? Because it's going to be extremely easy to catch him doing it. If he's going to, for example, God forbid, steal, they're going to catch him. So if someone is born under this constellation, don't steal, don't be a thief. Okay? Shmuel HaKatan added something in the Braita and Gemara. It says that if someone is born under the constellation of sun, is going to be someone who is going to have a lot of accomplishments. Why? Because of the fact that when the sun is out, everyone knows about it. People are going to know about this person, the accomplishments of this person. Will be able to be someone who will be successful. Noga, next one, right? Venus. If someone is born under this constellation of Venus, he's going to have a certain special grace. Is going to be someone who will be able to love other people, to be kind with other people very easily. Obviously, at the same time, there's going to be someone who will have to balance this degree of love in order not to go too far, because when it comes to love, you have to know who to love and how much to love. Okay. Mercury, Kochav. Kochav, Mercury always follows the sun. Okay, so people who are going to be born under Mercury, they're going to be people with a lot of skills. Extremely full of skills. They're going to be excellent when it comes to languages. They'll be able to learn a lot of languages. Why? Because they are going to get the radiance from what? From the sun. They are going to be able to also express themselves, their thoughts, clearly. They'll have a clear way of thinking. And they will be well defined. They'll know exactly how to define and how to describe it and so on and so forth. Levana, the moon.
It's Wednesday,
Moon is, let's see, which one starts with the Levana? I don't think there's anyone that starts with the moon. Nothing starts with the moon. Okay.
Monday.
Actually, sorry, Monday. You're right. You're right, Landy. Monday starts with the moon. You're right. Monday. Okay, because remember how we did it. We have 7 multiplied by 3, 21. And then another 3 to start. We finish the day, and then we start. So according to this, we have 24, 1 through 24, 3 cycles of 7, plus 3 starting from Chama, Noga, Kochab. Then Monday will start with the 4th one according to this calculation, which is Moon. Okay, so people who are born under Levana, Mazal of Levana, there are going to be people who are going to have a lot of pain. They're going to suffer a lot. There are going to be people who are going to build and they're going to destroy. They're going to be dependent on other people. They're going to be secluded. And if, God forbid, they will choose to be thieves, they'll be extremely successful. Why? Because of the fact that they're going to be so secluded, no one will know anything about them stealing. Okay? And why? And this is because of the moon. What happens with the moon? The moon, right? It's the cycle of the moon. It's very big, it's full, and then slowly but slowly it shrinks. The same thing with this person who's born under the Levana. It's going to be someone who's going to be able to be full, which means to build, and then, God forbid, to destroy whatever he built. So this person will have very, very, very special moments in his life where he's going to feel accomplished. He's going to feel good about himself, and there's going to be other moments where he's going to be really depressed. Why? Because of the idea of the moon. And why would Chazal, our rabbis, teach us that these people will be dependent on other people? Why? Because of, again, of the moon. The moon takes the power from what? The power of life from what? From the sun. Same thing. This person is going to, so the moon is dependent on the sun, and this person is going to be depending on other people. So these people are going to be extremely moody, and one day, for example, they will not say a word to us, and the next day they'll be our best friends. So it's important to remember that if someone is born under Levana, moon, you'll have this tendency. Okay? And again, I have to repeat that sometimes you will find people who are born under, for example, the moon, and whatever I'm describing here really doesn't fit them. Why? Because they have the tendencies to be this way, but they choose not to. It's a choice that the person has. It's important to remember that. But even though you have the tendency, and sometimes it's difficult to change that, you could do it. Okay. Shabtai. Okay. Someone is born under Shabtai, Saturn. It's going to be someone who is going to have a lot of menucha. Going to have a lot of rest. It's going to be someone who is inactive. Why? Because it's like Shabbat. Right? Shabbat, peace. Okay? So they're going to take life extremely easy. Right? They're going to be always relaxed. And they won't care about if other people are doing stuff for them. Okay, that's great, thank you, whatever, but that's it. And the whole week actually for those people will be like Shabbat. Not a lot of work, relax, go have a beer, whatever, go to the beach. Okay? But the fact is, they will not have even a lot of respect for other people, and other people will not respect them. Why? Because since they are not, they'll say this guy is not contributing anything to society, he's not doing a lot, I'm not going to respect this person. Chazal teaches that these people will be very, very prone to be sick or to be poor. Why? Because they're not going to be acting. Not a lot of action. So they'll have to work against this tendency that they will have. Tzedek, Jupiter. If someone is born under that constellation, it's going to be someone who's extremely generous. Why? Because from the word tzedek, tzedek comes from the word tzedakah, which is charity. Okay? It's going to be someone also is going to pursue and run always after justice. Why? Because again, tzedek is justice. Is going to be someone who's going to always look after poor people. He would want to change society, change the world, get rid of poverty in the world, and so on and so forth. He's going to be someone who's going to be extremely spiritual. He would want to satisfy God by the actions that he does. He's going to have a lot of prosperity, happiness, wealth, and all this will come from tzedek, from the fact that he is just, he wants justice. Why? Because since he's going to pursue justice, people are going to pay him back for the justice that he is looking to do. Okay. Next one is Me'adim, Mars. Me'adim, the Gemara says, if someone is born under the Mazal Me'adim, it's going to be someone who's going to have the tendency of always being connected to dam, blood. Why? Because Me'adim comes from the word, it has the letters of Dalet and Mem, which is dam, blood. And we said it before, we'll say it again. The Gemara says that this person will have the choice of either becoming butcher, a mohel, a doctor, or a serial killer. Right? All depends on his choice. So we see that again, someone could be born under a certain mazal, have tendency to blood in this case, and make a choice of how to use this tendency that he has for good or bad. And this is the idea of astrology, that each one of us has these midot, has these character traits, and you have to know how to work with those character traits. And it could be something that could be very positive, could be very impactful if you know the day that you were born, the week, the month that you were born, and the hour that you were born. All this makes a lot of difference if you know it and how you choose. Any questions? Okay. So, what we have to learn from astrology, as we said, each one of us has midot tovot, has good character traits, and character traits that are not so good. But the fact is, a person cannot walk away and say, you know, I am wonderful. You know, I was born under this constellation. The rabbi said tonight, ooh, I am going to be going to give a lot of charity. Okay? Because the fact is, each one of us has good character traits, and we have our shortcomings as well. We're not perfect. No one is perfect. God is perfect, and we are not perfect. And therefore, what we have to do is, we have to know how to express those character traits the best way we can, the most positive way we can, and also we have to know how to sometimes choose what to do, how to respond according to the character traits that we have. We have to know how to control our character traits when it comes to something that is not so positive. And we have to train ourselves as well. We make a mistake, so we learn from that mistake. We will not repeat it. We'll do better next time. We have to know also a certain degree of understanding what is who we are, okay? Where things could go if we don't stop them, and where could I regret for something that I did wrong. And by having this science of the zodiac, of all these different days, months, hours of the day, that could bring the person to a certain source of happiness, of satisfaction. And this could happen through the fact that the knowledge that we know when we were born and so on and so forth. Now, one more thing, important thing, is that the Gemara says that all depends on the person, which means that even though we have these tendencies, the one who is going to choose how his life is going to be is the person himself. So it's true that we have the constellations, and we have the different planets, and if someone is born under a certain constellation, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be natural events that are going to happen, occur in his life. However, Chazal, our rabbis, teach us that the person is in control of what's going to happen in his life. And that's the beauty of it. A person cannot say, right, because as we said before, a person, if he would come out of this class saying, you know what, since I was born under the Me'adim, Mars, if I'm going to become a serial killer, I'm going to go to court, I'll tell the judge, it's not my fault. I was born under Mars. Can't say that. Why? Because the person is in control of what he's going to be choosing. And therefore, according to the choice that he makes, that's what's going to happen. And the Gemara proves that, and we'll see. There's a few stories that I'll share with you that the Gemara says. The fact is, we have to understand that the Gemara says that En Mazal leIsrael. As Jews, we are not influenced by the constellations. We are above. We are above them. Okay? And the Gemara says the following. The Gemara says that as Jews, we have the power to break the influence of the constellations. How do we do it? Two things. First of all is tefillah, pray. When we pray, we could change the mazal, the constellation. Okay? And even if someone is going to go to the best, most renowned, known astrologer in the world, and the astrologer will tell him this is what's going to happen to you, and the truth is it's going to happen because the astrologer told him, and as we said, some astrologers could say part of the future, not all the future, but part of it. This person will be able to change that. How? By praying. That's one thing. And second of all is tzedakah, charity. By giving charity, by being charitable, you could change the mazal, the constellation, as well. The Gemara says 3 different stories about 3 different people who changed their mazal because of tzedakah, because of the charity that they did. First case, first story, and all this, by the way, you could find it, you could look online if you want. Shabbat 156a. First story, Shmuel was once sitting with one of the astrologers, philosophers, who wasn't Jewish. And they saw a certain person walking by, and this philosopher told Shmuel that this person that we see walking is walking and he will never come back, which means that he's going to die. And I see it, he told him according to the constellation that he was born and so on and so forth. He's not going to come back alive. Shmuel told him the following. He told him, actually, I know this guy, he's Jewish, and therefore he will be able to come back alive. Fine. So, before we continue the story, just for you to know, Shmuel was one of the great astronomers that the Jews ever had. The Gemara says that Shmuel knew, he said that he knew plans of all the planets, the paths of all the planets, as he knew the ways of Pumbedita, or Neharda, where he was living. Okay? He knew all the streets of Neharda, which was in Bavel, and he said that he knew the same way that he knew all the streets. He knew what was going on up there. And he agreed with this philosopher that there's a possibility that this person is going to die. But he told him, you're wrong. He's not going to die, and you'll see something is going to happen. And in effect, this person came back alive. Now Shmuel went to this person, and he told them, he had a bag. He told them, take off the bag that you have. Took off the bag, and they opened, and they found a dead snake inside the bag. Okay. As we know, a dead snake represents death. So this guy was saved from death. Shmuel asked them, what did you do? What did you do? Did you do an action? Did you do something good? I mean, something must have saved you. So he told them, this Jew told them the following. He said that he was working somewhere, and there were a lot of people workers, and for lunch they used to sit all together, and each one of them used to give a piece of his bread, and they used to have everything in the center, and then they used to eat, each one used to eat a little bit of the bread of the other one. Right, that's the way they did it. So that day, he said, the guy who was next to him was poor. So sometimes he used to have bread and he used to put it. Sometimes he didn't have bread. That particular day, he didn't have bread. He didn't have any food with him. So this man, this Jew, felt bad. Why? Because they used to come and, what do you bring? What did you bring? He would be embarrassed. He had nothing. So he gave him a piece of his bread in order for him to have something to give. So it was an act of tzedakah, of charity. And that saved him from death. So we see that the Gemara, again, that's one story. But the Gemara proves that by giving tzedakah, you could change your mazal, your constellation. Okay? Now, by the way, it's important to remember, to note that the Gemara says that this is going to save you from death, but we're not talking about any unnatural death. We're talking about something that natural that could happen. You could be saved from that. Another story is about Rabbi Akiva, a very, very famous story. That one of the astrologers came to him, and by the way, as we said, we're not allowed to go to an astrologer to ask what's our future. But the fact is, Rabbi Akiva was very, very friendly with a certain astrologer, and this astrologer once came to Rabbi Akiva and told him that your daughter is going to die the day she's going to get married. So you have to, I'm just giving you this piece of information, you do whatever you want with it. Now Rabbi Akiva, what he's going to do? He didn't want to lie. So if many people wanted to get married with his daughter, he used to tell them, you want to get married with my daughter, just know that the day that you're going to get married with her, she's gonna die. And no one, there were not too many people who wanted to get married, but there was one man who said, you know what, it's going to be such a zichut, such a merit for me to be married with the daughter of Rabbi Akiva, even if it's for 24 hours or less than 24 hours. I'm in. Okay. So he got married. So what happened is she got married, and that day, after she got married, at night, at that time, the brides used to have like big, I guess, bobby pins in their hair. So she took it off at night, and she stuck it. It was dark, they didn't have lights like we have today. There was no candles, nothing, so she stuck it somewhere, and she went to sleep. And next day, she was alive. So Rabbi Akiva was wondering what happened. So he asked her, what did you do? You were supposed to be dead, alive. What happened to you? So she told him the following. She said that day, there was a big feast. A certain poor person came. And everyone was preparing the food to serve and so on and so forth. And the daughter of Rabbi Akiva saw that he was hungry. There was no food. So what she do? She gave him her portion of food. Tzedakah. And that saved her life. So again, the Gemara proves from that that tzedakah tatzin mimavet, tzedakah could change the person's status. Another interesting story is about Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman, a certain astrologer, told his mother that he's going to become a thief. The great Rav Nachman. So his mother believed that he's going to become a thief. But she knew, she was thinking, what could I do for him not to become a thief? Is there a way for me to change the fact that he's going to become a thief? So she told him the following. She told him, I want you to make sure that you always have a kippah on your head and you never take it off. Never take it off. Why? Because, and she told him to pray to God as much as you can. What does that have to do with kippah or anything? The fact is, if someone has a kippah, the kippah represents the idea of yirat shamayim, of awe. You have a certain awe when you have a kippah. Right? That's why kippah is also called the yarmulke. Why yarmulke? Yarmulke is a word, yareh me'eloka. Someone who is in awe of God. He knows there's a God, right? So therefore she figured, if he's going to have a kippah all the time, he's going to be in awe of God. He will know that God is watching him, and he's not going to steal. Okay. So one day he fell asleep under a tree, and it was an apple tree. When he fell asleep, he woke up after, and as he woke up, what happened? Kippah fell. The kippah fell, and on the spot, what did he do? He saw apples. It wasn't his apple tree. With his teeth, he took one apple. Okay? And then he realized what his mother was stomaching. He thought, oh, because all this time he's thinking to himself, kippah all the time, kippah, fine, makes sense. But why would my mother be so, like insisting that I have a kippah? And then he realized what she told him, because without a kippah, any first time that he saw something that he could steal, he was like a magnet to go and steal it. And therefore, his mother found a way for him to take care of this issue by telling him to put his kippah on. And therefore, she told him, he understood that without the kippah, what's going to happen? The Shekhinah, the divine presence, is going to leave him. He's not going to be connected to God anymore without the kippah. And the stars will be in control because of that. So in conclusion, as we said, each one of us has good character traits, not so good character traits. We went through every every detail of what happens when someone is born in a certain month, certain day, certain hour of the day. And in order to get out of this, in a sense, the ruling of the stars and all the constellations, what we have to do is we have to work on ourselves. And that's the idea of what the Gemara says. The Gemara, it's a very famous Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. And Mazal Israel, the Jews don't have this idea of constellation in the sense that we are above that, and we are in control of what is going to. As simple as that. So, God willing, next time, what we'll be able to do, if you like, is in order for you to really believe what I'm saying, we could go through the text, the actual text of the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, and analyze the text a little bit, go through the different days, and see what your thoughts are about it.
Are we going to do it like in the future classes, or can we do like an example of like a day in this hour?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
I have mine. If
You have yours? Yeah, stop it, yeah.